the challenge for me is the trying to balance the thing that I need in order to feel better on a day-to-day basis versus the things that I need to do to feel long-term like I'm the person that I want to be.
Yeah.
And those two things for me conflict quite a lot, because I want to be the person that's out there, that's talking to people, that's having all these great discussions. But I also struggle with the harder conversations. I struggle when, just on certain days when I can't get my thoughts straight and things don't come out. And so I just have to regularly just step back and look at my mental health and say, what mood am I in today? What can I do today? And that's why some days I'll post 5 times and some days I won't post at all.
What techniques you do to reflect that and to hold up the mirror to yourself on a daily basis? Because again, trivial to you, someone else might take something from it.
So I have 2 things, I guess, that are really useful for me. So the first is the kind of the mental health inventory. So it's at a given moment actually reflecting on, why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling. I used to just have these days where I would just be angry at everything and everyone. And I was convinced it was because everyone else was being awful today, right? Yeah. And so when you realize actually you have days where just everything seems worse, and just being able to identify that immediately just clarifies things. And then the second is a little bit of CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy, of the trick that I was taught that I like is whenever you find yourself saying things about yourself in your own head, is say them back in a silly voice, like a goofy kind of voice, because often you're so harsh on yourself in a way that you wouldn't be to others. And when you frame it in that way, when you say it as if it's a Donald Duck kind of character saying, "Oh, you're such an idiot, why did you post that?" So, well, you wouldn't say that to someone else. And when you think of Donald Duck saying it, suddenly it feels as silly as it really is, and it kind of just lets you break through and be like, okay, right, that's just me today, that's just the mood I'm in. Yeah.
And in terms of the creative process, is it just fast and loose? Is it you have a thought, put it in your notes, and is it what is your creative process?
Yeah, so I'm very much a wing it kind of a guy. My brain is at any given point normally following 10 different mental threads that I have to pull together to form a sentence. The thing that I often do is just start writing. So I'll have an idea or a thought, and I'll just write something and see what comes of it. And then, half of the time it just goes in the bin. Half of the time it seems like it might be something useful. And so now I'll try and rework it a little bit. But so I think I did about 10, 12 Medium articles last year. Almost all of them, I would say, with the exception of 2, were written basically in a single sitting. So I would get to the end and think, right, this has got something to it. Now I'll tidy it up.
Yeah.
I could probably do with putting some more structure around it, but I found that the more I try and put structure around it, the less I can just keep myself engaged. So I've just kind of tried to work within my bounds.
Yeah. And what have your employer been like on this journey? Because again, from the outside perspective, is this individual has obviously got a permanent job with a potential side gig on this, potential side business. And I've been in this situation. Yeah, was there any sort of backlash or with what you're doing? Because there's a the reason I'm asking this is because you could be scheduling every post and batching it on the weekend, but the reader just sees you posting, at 2:00 in the afternoon whilst you should be doing something else. Yeah. So yeah, I'm interested in the.
Yeah, so honestly, no, I'm not usually batching, and so I like to be quite transparent about what I'm doing, and I happily talk it through with my employers that I've had different ones over the years, right, as I've been doing different things. My answer, even before I knew about the ADHD, even before I kind of understood exactly what I was doing, one thing I knew about myself was that I can be hyper productive in short bursts, and that those short bursts, they're so productive that they're often more productive than the other people around me. That's something that I've been able to kind of demonstrate over the years. And so most employers, they can see that and they have no problem with it. When you occasionally get into those points where people are, you shouldn't be on social media, you shouldn't be doing this, you should be doing X, I usually will just put a little bit of pressure back and say, so what is X? What exactly is it you're asking me to do? And what's the outcome you're looking for? Not the handle you're asking me to turn.
Yeah, it's good for them as well, really, isn't it? As long as one is doing it in the correct way, it's only people are going to go to your profile and go, oh, he or she works for them. They've obviously got some good people. Yeah. Because they're giving all of this value away.
And I'm lucky because so now I work for a company called Digital, and they're fantastic. So they more so than any company I've ever worked for. They really seem to be like culturally agile. They really understand this idea of you're not just a job. In fact, that's why we have our and titles, right? So as you mentioned, I'm a managing consultant and metalhead. So everyone at and has one of these titles, and it's a way of
okay.
it's a way of recognizing who we are beyond just our job, right? And so this is something that they really care about. And so I've never had to have that conversation with anyone at and. And even if I did, I would imagine that it would come from a place of genuine empathy, right? If someone came to me and said, "Hey, what's this stuff you're doing during the day?" It would probably be because either they wanted to help or they thought I could help them, not because it was a problem. But it comes in waves as well, right? At the end of the day, sometimes I spend 9 to 5 just so embroiled in my normal day-to-day client work that I can't do the other stuff. That's fine. But because of who I am, I'm also going to spend 3 hours in the evening doing stuff that's work related as well.
But that goes down well.
It's for me, it's just I do what I want, right? I genuinely make that my like life's mission is I do what I want, and it sounds like a joke, but it's like if I want to do works, if I want to talk about agile stuff in the evening, if I want to not talk about agile stuff in the middle of the day because I'm burnt out, I'll just do what I want to do, and I don't know whether it's just because of the patterns I've built or whether it's because I'm lucky. But the things that I want to do are usually things that other people are willing to pay for or to be a part of. Yeah. So I don't usually have to worry about it.
So I'm going to clip that bit up about you saying I do what I want, and I'm going to email it to your wife.
Love it. Yeah, no, I actually genuinely say that to her all the time. It's a bit of an in-joke for us as well, so I love it.
Fair enough. Even I've lost my place now. So one of the we've been talking about creativity, creative outlet, the process. One of the things that's come out of that is dysfunction mapping. Would you be able to share what that is, where it came from, what it brings to the table of tools, if you like?
Yeah, absolutely. So dysfunction mapping started basically just as an approach that I was using as an agile coach, as a scrum master, when I was joining teams, companies to kind of organize my thoughts. Like I mentioned earlier, I quite quickly got to a point where I realized that I was seeing a lot of repeat patterns and the approaches were very, very similar. And so this was just a way of saying, right, given these things that I'm seeing, here are some of the missing pieces of the puzzle, right? These symptoms over here are caused by potentially these bad Scrum practices or, bad XP practices. And so here's some hypotheses that I can form to say, if I do this stuff over here is going to go away. So I often describe it as being like a hypothesis-driven tool to basically to solve problems, right, as an agile practitioner. So when I realized some of these other problems in the agile industry that I was trying to deal with, this lack of a pathway for people beyond those 2-day introductory workshops, it was obvious that, okay, cool, if I can get some tools out there that can help people actually solve problems, not just understand theory, that seems like a good thing to do. And so I created like basically a loose framework for dysfunction mapping that was similar to what I had done in the past, but was also tweaked to make it a little bit more, easy for other people to pick up and use. Threw it out, and then immediately that seems to have been quite popular. So a lot of people have gotten value from it.